Hey there, sorry for interrupting like this, and sorry for getting your hopes up too. Just want to get some things out of the way first. Before you ask, part 62 is coming up this weekend, same bad time, same bad place. Should be probably ready by then, still got lots of editing to do and lots of retakes as well. But don't worry, part 62 is coming. Now, on to other matters. So I decided to upload this video on this channel since it has more subscribers and probably reach more people because I kind of need lots of people's opinions on this. Just this morning, I was sent an email linking to a certain piece of music, which is from the soundtrack of a recently released Netflix miniseries called Anatomy of a Scandal, starring Sienna Miller. This soundtrack was composed by the Swedish composer Johan Söderqvist, and he's been around for quite a while, since the early 1990s actually, and he's been composing film scores in Europe and outside of Europe, and also recently did the scores for the Battlefield 5 and Battlefield 1 games. So he's been around for a while. Just the issue is that this certain piece of music, which is the end credits, I believe, sequence, the music is eerily similar to Quick's theme by Gino Samuel. Now, in case you don't know what I'm talking about, this is Quick's theme, of course. This is on my music channel, Gino Samuel. Link is in the description below. So this is in C minor. Very simple thing on piano, like this. Very simple pattern. Very minimal accompaniment for the moment. And now let's jump on to Anatomy of a Scandal and credits by Johan Söderqvist. Then it gets a bit wild. It goes on. Like, lots of arpeggiation up here. It slows down right here at the end. Anyway. So I'm talking to you about this because is this a case of plagiarism? Did Johan Söderqvist take Quick's theme and rejiggered it just a little bit, and try to pass it off as his own? Perhaps it's subconscious plagiarism. That's also possible. Even if it is subconscious plagiarism, it still is. So I'm just trying to get the word out a little bit more this way, and there's got to be someone who's a bit more knowledgeable about this than I am, maybe attorney or musicologist, someone who can, I don't know, offer to give me some advice on what to do in this situation. This show was very recently released, like 3 days ago, and the soundtrack was released as well automatically by YouTube as a music distributor, and then also by some other channels, for example, Thriller Soundtrack Music, the YouTube channel, and the video featuring this piece has only 5 comments on it, and all 5 of them are referencing me. So I'm not the only one who thinks that this sounds quite a lot like what I created for Christian: A Comprehensive History. Now, first, let's just touch on the similarities. What are the similarities? Why is there a case? Is there a case? First off, both pieces are in C minor. C minor right here. This is a C minor chord, and then we go into G minor. Both pieces do the same thing. So the first thing that I play in this pattern is a G and an E flat. And then this is followed by an E flat, which is an octave lower, and a C. So put all these 3 notes together and you get a C minor chord. And this follows the same pattern for the G minor variant. This is G, D, and then followed by a D, a lower by an octave, and a B flat. So this. Both pieces play these exact same notes, these patterns. However, the difference is that Söderqvist's pattern instead goes low, high, low, high. I go high, low, high, low. So for example, I do this, 1, 3, 1, 3. He does this, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3. Someone in my Discord even mentioned that the actual piano sound that is played by both pieces sounds almost exactly the same, as if he just took my recording and sampled it himself, you know? A bit unlikely to have done that so blatantly. I don't think that's the case. What is more likely to be is that we both use addictive keys as a virtual piano instrument. I think that's a lot more likely. So since we both use the same VST, both sound alike. The end credits theme is also a bit faster than my piece, but just because the speed is different doesn't mean it's not plagiarism. I can't just rip off an entire song just by playing it slower, you know? Just the thing is that they're both in the same key, and they both follow the same pattern here. If it was any other pattern, like for example, he played something like this, and the initial similarity, is all gone now. It's a completely different piece of music now. And there's no case of plagiarism anymore. However, that's the crux of it all. And the fact that it's the same pattern repeating all over again, same as my piece. What happens in Quick's theme as the piece progresses, you get additional instruments added, and they add context to this simple pattern, and it creates chords, thusly, like this. You get a G minor, and then you get a B flat in the bass over this C minor pattern, which makes it like a G sharp major 7th chord, and then you get this. A similar thing happens in this piece. You get this pattern here, which is the backwards. This. First is it's a C minor, and then I think we get a G sharp or A flat, G minor first inversion, and a G minor. So the chords are similar as well. And the fact that this pattern repeats is also similar. The fact that it's a piano is also very similar. Now let's touch on the differences. Johan Söderqvist is Swedish. I am Lithuanian. I live in Japan. He does not live in... You know, I think we've all heard of these sort of court cases in which a famous music artist rips off someone else, be it just like being influenced by them too much or just subconsciously plagiarizing as well. Like, for example, quite a few years ago now, Tom Petty and Tom Petty's estate won the case over Sam Smith. Like, Sam Smith had the song Stay With Me, and it was deemed by the courts to be plagiarizing Won't Back Down by Tom Petty from the late 80s, which personally I think they sound different enough. But then you get other things like the Marvin Gaye and the Robin Thicke thing, which also I think they sound different enough, but apparently it was ruled that they kind of stole the vibe of the original Marvin Gaye track, and apparently that's plagiarism somehow. And then you got the recent case of Dua Lipa and her production crew and songwriting crew versus Particle Sound System, which, I mean, those tracks are pretty much identical. There is no disputing. I think someone on the writing team ripped off in some way that song, that particular song. I can't say if I'm gonna take this to court or anything. It's way too early to say that. I'm gonna try to reach out to some people, maybe regarding this issue. Maybe even reach out to Johan Söderqvist himself and try to talk it out maybe. As you can see, I'm not foaming at the mouth. I'm not enraged. I'm not emotionally distraught that this composer for Netflix and other films has maybe ripped off my music. I don't really know what to do. I think there might be a case in this, but there really is only one surefire way to make this into a case, and that is to prove that Johann Söderqvist in some way heard this theme before. He watched the documentary perhaps, and considering he's, I think, 56 years old, he's close to 60 years old, he's not exactly my target audience, so that's quite unlikely now. However, I'm pretty sure he has kids. Maybe his kids showed him an episode or two of this crazy YouTube documentary, perhaps, or industry colleagues or friends or other family members. That is possible. I mean, the series, I think part 1 has, 3 million views, or almost 3 million views at this point. You know, lots of notable people have noticed this YouTube series. Both prominent YouTubers have talked about it, have even mentioned me. I've been contacted 3 times, at least 3 times, by industry professionals, by producers who are interested in making something concerning Chris, but they're not quite sure how to go about it. I mean, nothing's confirmed yet nothing is cancelled either. So notable people in this industry, in this filmmaking industry, are aware of Chris Chan and the phenomenon, and a lot of them are thinking of going to me for like advice or consulting or maybe collaborating as well. So it is not unlikely that someone like Johann Söderqvist has never seen this documentary, has never heard this theme music. So this is where I stand now. I'm not quite certain yet of what to do. I'm not quite... It's not so cut and dry. I mean, the fact that is the reverse pattern kind of makes me feel like if it is plagiarism in some sort of way, his lawyers could make a case against it, you know? It's not this, it's this. Totally different. So sorry again for interrupting your week and getting your hopes up maybe a little bit. I just wanted to reach out and see if there's anyone out there who is professionally capable of giving me some advice regarding this issue or this non-issue, and if there's a next step to do or not, or do I have a case or not. For now, at least, I'm going to move on with my life and continue making stuff the way I always have. So again, thank you everyone for your support, and please stay tuned for part 62, coming up very, very soon. Thanks again. See you around.